No, please. External pressures are not necessarily war.
Yes.
But that is the mistake you guys always do. They think shocks in commodity prices are not external factors. I will pardon you.
No,
but no, in modeling, no, wait.
Had shocks.
So don't say that we didn't have external pressures. Currently, the war that you are talking about is still going on. That war is still here. In fact, there is even a better war now, a more difficult war.
No. This one, oil is still roaming around 120.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
You know what? Let's move on. This debate we've had it time and again for years. So let's move on. Yes.
So I'm saying that PCI.
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Were inherent in the administration. No. You understand? SOEs and even their boards cannot, for instance, a CEO cannot sit sole moto and sign a contract above a certain threshold. You must come to your board, right? And board to PPE. So if you tell me that there is no control mechanism, I'll have a difficulty in believing that. So if you have a different approach in how your governance style is working, I'm not sure that it negates how things were done. That didn't give any problems to how the SOEs were.
I guess, Salam, in order not for us to litigate this matter and to drag it, because we have an IMF conversation to have. But the understanding I got from what he's saying is that yes, he admits that all these institutions have a governance structure. The agency, state-owned enterprises, they all have a governance. It's true, you're right, absolutely right. They have a board. But the decisions of the board must align to a national priority.
Of course.
So that's where he comes from. That sometimes some of the things that the board have approved does not align with the priorities of the central government. So because we're a board, we can decide that as far as we're concerned, if justify what you should say build 100 school buildings. But the question is, at the time, the MPP government, was that really their priority? Did you get it? So the alignment between
are not, elements without control. They also serve under ministers who have policy direction to these SOEs. I know that SOEs also report to the minister. So SOEs cannot just get up and begin to do things they like without recourse to the central authority. Otherwise, what is the purpose of the minister?
Right.
The sector minister. The sector minister must control whatever the SOEs are doing, which is in conformity with aspirations of the government.
But he also told you that in fact, it is true. But you also have situations where, for instance, contracts have been entered into, commitments have been made that I want you to do something for me, say you do it.
I will not behave like an ostrich to say that processes are not subject to abuse.
Well,
I will not behave like an ostrich and say
exactly
that,
the point. That's the point he's trying to make.
People, human beings that we are.
Yes.
People will not abuse the system. There will always be.
Yes.
But one or two situations does not in any way negate the entire thing.
So your point is there were some controls, but it can always be better.
They can always
so his point is there were some controls even during
to want to portray
as if there were no controls at all.
Yes.
Okay. That's why he has a problem. He says his understanding, not what you said, his understanding.
When you repeated what you said, it's still the same impression.
There were no controls at all. So it's like until the NDC came, there was no control at all. And that's where you have a problem. So he says it's fine if you criticize that the controls were not enough. But to say it was not there at all until the NDC came, that's his problem.
His impression.
Yes, that's his impression, his understanding, yes. So I guess that we should move on.
But Senior, let me just correct this.
Okay.
SIGA does not decide or regulate boards with regards to how finances are done.
That's true.
SIGA is on corporate governance.
That's true.
So it is not a measure. It is not a corporate governance. It's not a procurement measure that we deal. I'm coming.
Absolutely.
I'm coming. Please. Number two. Sector ministers, they give policy directions. Not all projects designed by the agencies have the tacit approval of the sector ministers.
But I said
No,
that-
wait.
No, they are
So
human
you said
beings.
the CEOs have reporting lines. Yes, they have reporting lines.
Yes.
But I'm saying that the decisions of boards to enter projects need not necessarily be approved by the sector minister. The highest decision-making body of any SOE is the board.
It's the board, yes.
So, in fact, it will be for good corporate governance that you extend the courtesies to sector ministers for policy direction, not on
The policy
so
direction regulates the work
No,
of the
not,
SOE.
not the day-to-day work of the SOE.
Of course.
So,
that is
Moro,
the
let me give you an
rest
example.
on
Let me give you an
institution.
example. Do you know, even at the MPP, and now, it had to take governments, first of all, to regulate foreign travels of SOE. Do you know that?
Right.
But that didn't start with your government. You know
No, I
that.
said even after.
Yes.
You are not listening to see that. I'm saying that even
He wants to make sure you don't take the credit.
No. Me, I don't do my argument like that. Moro, I'm saying that because of rampant public increase in public expenditure on foreign travels,
Yes.
it took the government, the central government, through the chief of staff at the MPP and even now,
Yeah.
to issue that directive to SOEs. So it tells you that there are expenditures that can happen without the tacit approval of the central government.
Right.
That is the level of the small discretionary power that exists is what the commitment control comes to curb.
Okay.
But you see,
Now,
as
the
a
second
finance
thing is
person-
that- no, I'm coming.
I'm coming. Just the point. You also know that as a finance person, every year, every SOE has a budget.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that you get me.
So you
Take
mean
your
to tell
time.
me that
My point is that the budgeting. I've given you instances where a board gives budget, then the company at the end spends beyond the budget. This is captured even in the 2024 audited report of Cocoa Board, and it was.
you want to make that a thing
and
of
I'm-
the past.
Yes, and we are saying that
Okay.
anything you want to spend must be borne out of the budget.
Yes.
And that's why when you need to do variations in your program outlook, you must go back and seek for variations and approval.
Yes.
Now let me read. I stated exactly what I meant when I said the IMF and the Ministry of Finance have issues and why they included this VF. Look at what they said. According to the IMF and the Ministry of Finance joint statement, proposed office will independently assess major government contracts and projects before approval, monitors implementation, and evaluate whether the project achieved their intended purpose. So it has during the project and then after.
Right.
So let me give you an example. The board can approve for the initiation of a project. The PPA approving the project to start, there's no mechanism in the PPA law that mandates them for monitoring to ensure that that project really delivers that value.
Okay.
So that's why you see that some get fund projects are more than 20 years abandoned. Who takes, in fact, even recently, we had issues on national inventory of our infrastructure. We don't have it.
Okay.
All this is because we've allowed SOEs and agencies to do projects as and when they please. And it's scattered across the country. There's no coordination. So the idea behind these controls is to ensure that we timelessly monitor projects' progress.
Okay.
So that nobody takes any city that will not deliver value to our people.
All right.
That's the objective of the
So,
program.
Mustafa, don't get it twisted. He's not saying nothing happened under the MPP. All he's saying is that they have improved things. They've tightened things a bit more. That's all. It is not to say nothing happened. So otherwise we'll drag this and then we can't have another conversation.
They are just starting it.
Okay. You want to see whether it can be sustained?
I just started it.
All right.
Don't up your hopes yet under
Okay.
this government.
All right.
But commitment
So he says prove to him that you can sustain it.
And this is a government that has mastered trickery and have weaponized it as well.
No problem.
So let us see delivery.
okay.
Look, I'm not a prophet of doom,
Okay.
but this thing that the finance minister must give authorization.
Yes.
We're all seeing the fallouts that some sector ministers are now blaming the finance minister that, look, you are stifling us of resources, of funds. You are not releasing our, allocations to us. And it's because you have presidential ambition and that you want to cripple others
Let's proceed.
who also...
Who has said that?
It's discussion.
These are it's too early to be doing this type of politics.
No, But
Let's deal with
it's
that.
coming from you people, your own fault.
The one is
It's coming from your own
national
fault.
organizer.
No, I am not being politics. But no, you have heard.
So
Mamoro, you have heard
No, that's true.
that the finance
but
There's
minister.
some public discussion. Whether it's true or not is another matter.
The point is that let's be careful that we don't create a monster in value for money office that will turn and become a vehicle of corruption because people have to go and bribe officers there to get their things passed.
No.
But you know that you know that before any contract, is done, there's value for money, attached to it.
No, that is not the case. No, but see that you've worked in did you serve in any in your government?
I was a presidential staffer.
No, presidential, you don't have budget to approve anything. I'm saying that if you have worked in an SOE, right now I serve on the board, and I can tell you, I can tell you,
you don't go and submit.
No, he wants to know whether the projects come with value for money analysis.
No.
Okay.
In fact, this cannot be correct.
Look,
there must be justification.
No, justification is different from value for money.
But
no, then you see,
if you are telling me,
no, but you agree the two are not the same.
They are not the same.
Somewhat not.
Yes.
Justification for the project is different from the value for money.
Exactly.
Contracts I have seen.
Yes.
I have worked around.
Yes.
There's usually reports on value for money.
No, so that's what I'm saying, that there is
so
no.
If you tell me that there is no, I have a problem with that.
Wait. We are speaking across purposes. The truth is that there is no mandatory requirement that projects comes with a value for money report. Justification of a project, value for money has key principles: efficiency, economy, and then what?
Of course, this is we understand.
No, and they are recognized consultancy firms and institutions that conduct value for money.
Yes.
So I'm saying that it is not all government projects that require you to have value for money. But this law now, when implemented, will insist that all projects that government
you get a difference
must come with a value for money.
So you get a difference.
And justification, people can come to board and justify.
No, that's a difference. You don't even need to explain.
So
That's a difference. Don't
confuse it.
There's a difference. There's a difference. I want to put up a school here because the children in my area have to cross river A, B before, so I need a school here. But that's justification. But then the value for money will tell you whether.
For people who are riding on Trickery, let's wait and see how this white elephant is going to unravel.
So let's make progress. Let's make progress. Because we honestly have just 25 minutes to discuss IMF. That's how tight the
will you see the time to me?
So you see, I was in here early. I was taking my time to prepare before we look at IMF.
Before we look at IMF, Isaah, Ghana is out of the IMF program. Now, it's called the ECF Supported Economic Program. We're out of it. But we've also heard the finance minister in that presser announced something he calls the policy code, yes, the PCI. In fact, it used to be called the PS, the Policy Support Instrument. And people are wondering what it is. And I've asked whether indeed we really need this. Because if we were able to do this IMF on our own, why if we were able to run this program on our own, of course with the support of the IMF, why do we need IMF to be with us to be able to do this PS? So people have called it policy policing. Policing, yes. So we're transitioning from ECF to PCI. But the MPP has their take on this matter. Let me just read a paragraph or two and then you can tell me.
They've spoken on it.
Yes. They've issued a statement actually. They issued it on Saturday. It's been captured in today's daily graphic.
All right.
Now, Samododu says the opposition New Patriotic Party has welcomed the stabilization gains acknowledged by the International Monetary Fund and the Ghana's Extended Credit Facility IMF program, but rejects what it describes as the government's political packaging of the fund's latest assessment. In a statement issued last Saturday, May 16, 2026, the MPP said the IMF's decision to place Ghana under 36-month policy coordination instrument PCI showed that the country still required structured policy monitoring to sustain the gains achieved under the program. The government must be honest about the country's economic status. The MPP said the IMF's sixth and final review vindicated a program designed and negotiated by the previous MP administration in 2023 and commended Ghanaians for the sacrifices made during the implementation period. It said measures such as the domestic debt exchange program and the external debt restructuring had reduced Ghana's debt burden from 72% of GDP in December 2023 to 45.3% at the end of 2025. And it says credit goes to every Ghanaian who carried that adjustment on their shoulders. The party also disputed the government's claims that the IMF program derailed at the end of 2024. According to the MPP, IMF documents did not describe Ghana's program as derailed and pointed instead to improved external reserves and stronger than expected GDP growth. And they also say that the party contrasted the current program with the 2015 ECF arrangement under the previous NDC administration, which is said had gone off track and required formal extension and rephase. But they have concerns over fiscal risk. The MPP further argued that the PCI should not be interpreted as a certificate of investment-grade economic health. It's an instrument for ensuring to institutional discipline that the country is not yet judged able to sustain unaided. The party said the IMF had identified continuing risk, including liabilities in state-owned enterprises such as ECG and so on and so forth. And it goes on and talks about living conditions.
Who is this?
The party issued a statement. I'm not sure. Maybe Salam will tell us. Yes, it was a party statement. So it says in a statement issued on Saturday. So it's a statement. I don't know who actually signed it.
Okay. No
so here we go. Right. So help us understand, what does it mean to be out of this program?
You say it's like with 20 minutes, right?
Yes, we just have 20.
So I'll do 10 and you do 10.
Yes, it's just 20 minutes, yes.
All right. So first of all, let me take this opportunity to invite viewers to follow me through this whole journey.
Okay.
This is a remarkable achievement, let me say, and some credit needs to be given to the SY administration for the reforms that they started. But much of the blame should also be placed on their doorstep. This 18th IMF program is the most expensive IMF program ever entered in Ghana. The most expensive. In 2019, the Ministry of Finance raised fiscal risk factors that threatens the stability of our country. And one of their principal reasons, under Attah, was the debt trajectory. We're already doing debt to GDP of almost 70%.
Yeah.
Then there was an issue. In 2019, there were already depreciation happening. Then the Isaah and many other stakeholders called for what? An extension of the IMF program that we had just exited. You saw the way we celebrated the exit of the 2019 IMF program. Then we were told that the country was healthy. In their own budget, they reported that there were fiscal risk factors and they mentioned the debt and the exchange rate instability. In 2020, when COVID struck, we were very clear as a minority party then that every country have been hit. As we speak currently, Iran-US war is happening. The degree of pressure on countries depends on their macroeconomic fundamentals. So we said Ghana was not an island and then it should not behave differently from the rest of the world. We have our peers with the same economic structure that we can always do the comparative analysis. They told us that the solution was e-levy. They did town hall meetings towards the implementation of the e-levy. They implemented it, and we indicated them that e-levy, the money is a float. It's not stock. Because the same money can be on four of us, our phone, transferring among each other. It is not new money. It's the wrong thinking. Whoever brought that idea didn't think well. They said, no, that was a panacea. They led us into this difficult decision.
So it's all part of the PCI?
I'm coming up. If you don't understand the background, you won't appreciate why we are on this program. Never again. I'm trying to draw your attention that there should have been a similar arrangement from 2019 that gives you policy credibility. But you thought, no, for political expediency, we have exited. Did a Kenke party and led us to this most expensive IMF program.
2019, there was no election in this country. So
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are looking at what Ghanaians have to pay for this program. through the Dachi bond and the locally issued bonds that Minister of Finance did, Ghanaians lost close to 84 billion Ghana cedis in principal and interest. This is the cost to people. So we cannot just forget about it and move on. That's why you said that, should it be the last? IMF, Ghana is a member of the IMF. So it is not a problem approaching the IMF. But you must approach the IMF when you have the bargaining strength. That is the time you need to approach them, not when you are on your knees. Do you think if we had approached IMF in 2019 or 2020, these circumstances would have been there? So that is where I'm coming from. The time we went to IMF was the time that we were at our lowest peak. Depreciation, over 40%, inflation, 51%, exchange rate, unstable, foreign reserve falling. We were knocked out of the international capital market. In fact, our economy was described as junk.
So exogenous factors.
And I'm saying that which other country in West Africa, which other country in West Africa was described junk?
But other West African countries also ran to the IMF.
So I'm getting there. I'll do the comparative analysis. I have 10 minutes, don't worry. So tomorrow, we told them, and they said no, they will do it. At that time, when we were described junk, we needed an emergency funding, not a policy credibility. That is the reason why they did the most painful haircut ever witnessed in this country. Because our debt to GDP ratio, for the first time, when you take the GDP basket of Ghana, not all the money belongs to us, because there are expatriates working in Ghana and they are earning money. But if you have added everybody's resources, we exceeded it by 4%. Our debt to GDP ratio approached 104%. Highly unsustainable, an emerging market economy. That is why the medicine was painful for our sick nation. And that's why people were giving haircuts. Now today, they will even say that, oh, but for their domestic debt, you took it painfully, not because you wanted it. We are doing PCI, but we are not taking principal and interest of people. So my point is that the exit of this program demonstrated few things, and it was summarized by the IMF. They said it restored policy credibility. Now, the same rating agencies that describe the MPP regime as junk today are describing Ghana as what? A stable macroeconomic country. The same rating agencies. In fact, because of their junk description, Kenneth Furata even said that we should create our own rating agencies. Today, the same group, we don't even know Fitch, S&P and Moody's. In fact, JP Morgan has described Ghana as the best destination for trade and businesses in Africa. EU ambassador to Ghana described Ghana as the best destination for the next generation. These are the recommendations and applause from people, not the MPP. Your legacy is just yesterday, and we are still aware of that legacy. Stabilized macroeconomics, and they say we don't eat economics. Fiscal discipline, they say we are not spending. But look at the productive spending. Upon all the spending the MPP did, inflation was still around 23.8%. CD depreciated by 19%. Unemployment was at 14.7%. Debt was about 726 billion Ghana cedis. Upon all those things they said they spent on, we still had these difficulties. In fact, the IMF described, and I'm surprised the person said, the IMF in their fourth review, October 2024, said the policy slippages deviated significantly. The quarterly adjustment program, instead of the 24% annually, they did only 3% because of election. Recruitment, they did a lot of recruitment just because of the election when they were advised against increasing compensation. These are the difficulties that we have to endure. And I will just refer you back to currently our external reserves are good. The stability of exchange, people who don't understand. Imagine fuel. If you look at the determinants of fuel, we have the FOB price of the world market price, then we know our taxes and our margins. Imagine the FOB price in the international market, it has increased to about 100 and something. Imagine the city was at 16 Ghana cedis, what would have been the cost of fuel? Now, yes, a PCI is my interest here. Anybody following me can just type the IMF and add PCI, and then walk through this in 2 minutes, so that propagandists will understand that a PCI is not an emergency response. This is what the IMF had to say about a PCI. First of all, it's a non-financing arrangement. Ghana is not expected to borrow. You committed this country to $3 billion to be paid in 10 years with interest. This arrangement, Ghana is not going to borrow. That's number one. Now, if you sign on to a PCI, there are only signals that it shows. It signals growth. Only stable economies sign on to a PCI. If your economy is weakening with imbalances and pressures, you will rather require an ECA facility. So I will demonstrate to you that countries that are on PCI are countries with stable macroeconomic environments.
This one we know.
So it's basically a requirement.
So we entered into a program that has occasioned stability. The last government went into this program, took the hard bullets for it with electoral consequences. That you have come and you are benefiting the soft side of it. Okay. Then you turn around and say that, no, we should clap hands for you.
Okay, it's okay. You'll be fine. Wait.
Okay, you finish.
They said they took the bullets. What they always forget is who shot the gun. You took the bullets, but who shot the gun in the first place?
We are the government.
Please, I'm saying that
the most difficult.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't be digging grave and you want to come out.
Right?
My point is that
the NDC government in 2015, when you went into the IMF program, you didn't even have exogenous factors to deal with.
Will you spend me 30 minutes to
internal inability to manage the economy?
And
that led us to IMF.
Salam, regardless of the reasons, he's saying that it happened and now you're telling me. That's all.
I'm telling you
that's for the reasons.
That the growth, the stability.
I get all of that.
No, don't get
before
it.
they came into office.
I get it.
I'll pardon you. No, wait. I'll pardon you for one thing.
We had begun to see some improvements even before the NDC. That which is true.
Yes. Look.
Yeah, but he's asking you a question, which
inflation
is that
fell from 54%
now who caused
to 24.
You know.
But he must also be frank and sincere in explaining the matter. You see, you cannot. You're doing politics.
No, I'm not doing politics. No,
I'm
not doing politics. See, but this is my senior brother. Let me just do this quickly. No, please. External pressures are not necessarily war.
Yes.
But that is the mistake you guys always do. They think shocks in commodity prices are not external factors. I will pardon you. In modeling, wait.
Had shocks.
So don't say that we didn't have external pressures. Currently, the war that you are talking about is still going on. That war is still here. In fact, there is even a better war now, a more difficult war.
No. This one, oil is still roaming around 120.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
You know what? Let's move on. This debate we've had it time and again for years. So let's move on. Yes.
So I'm saying that the PCI signals economic growth.
Okay.
So this is what the IMF said. Moving from an ECF to a PCI means Ghana is no longer seeking emergency rescue financing.
Okay.
Instead, Ghana is saying we can finance ourselves, but we will still need IMF policy credibility and technical engagement. This is not a compulsion. This is not a restriction. For example, we have negotiated through the debt exchange program with creditors. They need that guarantee and certainty that their monies will be paid.
Yeah.
A lot of those monies will mature in 2028. There should be that certainty. What's the guarantee based on previous records? This is our 18th time. What's the guarantee that if we exit completely from the IMF, there's a guarantee that their monies will be paid? Some of them will threaten. In fact, I know this for a fact. Immediately we had exited completely, they would have brought back, because in the renegotiation, it was hinged on the successful completion of this program and a transition to a PCI program. The idea is to guarantee that credibility to any investor coming to Ghana that Ghana is ready for business. That is the implication of a PCI.
Okay.
And that's any business that you do with Ghana, there's a guarantee that you'll be paid.
Yeah.
It is a safe environment for investment. Now, investor confidence has also increased, and I've just demonstrated to you what the credit rating agencies are saying. Moro, look at something.
Right.
The number of countries using PCI is here.
Okay.
Now, this is what they are saying. The number of countries using PCI arrangement is relatively small because the instrument is designed for countries with improving macroeconomic conditions that no longer need direct IMF financial assistance.
Okay.
The number of countries enjoying the PCI now are relatively small because it is only few countries in emerging market economies that have stable macroeconomic environment, and Ghana is one of them. We have Rwanda. Currently, Rwanda is doing a PCI program. Senegal is undergoing a PCI program.
I'm told no.
Seychelles,
no, Senegal has quit.
they have quit now.
Yes.
Seychelles, Serbia, Benin, and Cape Verde.
Yes.
These are countries with macro outlook which are stable. Now, if you look at their features, like I already said, each year we extended credit. It's money.
Yes.
Loan. Policy credibility. This is the PCI own is credibility issues. You are good to go. And I'm sure if 2019, when you had exited, that time, the macroeconomic environment was already good. Because even the same IMF, like you said, they projected that you were on a trajectory of growth. In 2015, the IMF projected growth. You can check it. So if you had exited the program in 2019 and you had signed on to a PCI, that guarantees investor confidence won't have been knocked out by the international market. Currently, Ghana has an opportunity to enter into the capital market and borrow at concessionary rates. So these are some of the things I want my brothers from the minority to understand.
Okay.
Look, it is not everything you must do politics with.
Okay.
This one, no, that's 1 minute more. This one is I'm using my brother as a reference point. This attempt to hop onto everything good in this country for political expedience. The flag bearer himself has run away from these debates.
Not.
Then you now want to, have you observed Sandra Moro? They have run away from the economy. Now they are all they know, because of their internal elections, everybody is trying to do something to win power.
Right.
So this unrest and this noise and all those, they will never debate you on substance.
Okay.
The substance of the matter is that
Okay.
Ghana is better off now than it was in 2024.
All right.
That's the conclusion.
Mustafa, you have just 6 minutes, unfortunately.
No, he interjected.
Because it's
your
interjected is small, yes.
I was taking some of my
Oh,
time.
actually 5
But you
minutes.
interrupted me.
Actually 5 minutes.
Okay.
Bonetofa.
Mame Bonotofa.
Yes. Long and short.
Yeah, Aban Weon. Adam Kwada Dadri.
That's it.
Adam Kwada Dadri. Look,
Okay.
really, is this news? No. What's news about this?
Really?
Yeah, what's news? What's news? What's the news? What's the value, news value in this? Moro. Essentially, we're supposed to exit the IMF somewhere between May and August this year. So essentially, the credit facility part of the program is done. In fact, you came and benefited from the last batch of the tranches of payment from the IMF. That money you people have taken, you have spent. But that one, you will not add it when you are saying that you people created the problems and so on and so forth. And so forth. You have signed on to a PCI, essentially telling the IMF that if you leave, we are reckless. We'll run back to our reckless way of doing things. So stay as our big brother, as a police, and keep us in check. That's essentially what it is.
Isn't that what Ghana has always...
That's not the meaning.
Even to pick your own way, which is true, policy credibility.
Yes.
But policy credibility essentially is that you are unable to manage the economy on your own.
That's
without
not the
their
meaning.
support.
That's not the meaning.
It is. literally.
No, let's not take it.
No.
No, economists watching us will think we are wrong. So let me correct you on that.
Don't correct me.
No,
Don't
because
correct me.
please. No, let's not let misinformation go out.
No. It's not misinformation.
He gave you small space. He says he only want 10 seconds.
I just want to correct.
Where do Allah?
No.
Oh,
This
cool.
is not correction.
Okay.
This is not correction.
All
Please.
right.
Please.
So I should allow you to continue like that.
No, it's not correction. It's not correction. It's not at all. It's not.
All right.
It's because if the IMF leaves you, you do things that fall out of credit policy credibility.
Oh, Moro.
It's the same situation we had in 2015, where you yourselves admitted that you are eating the bone, you are eating the meat, and it was down to the bone. So you ran to the IMF looking for policy credibility.
Not emergency funding. This
course,
is the
the
difference.
two are different.
Yeah, they are different.
Yes.
So the circumstances are better
Yes.
off.
Because we went into extreme shocks.
Which are?
The post-COVID recovery rigidities that essentially slowed global economy. You know it. Countries went into recession.
In Africa.
I'm lying. Not just here in Africa. But
So
across
which
the world.
country in Africa? Which country? Mention that country.
If I am going to mention names,
mention one country.
IMF programs that were Cote d'Ivoire went for the same EFC.
I just asked a question.
I'm
Which
coming.
country went for recession? In Africa.
It's not just about Africa. I'm saying
So why
economies
are you-
went into recession. Greece went into recession.
You don't compare economies like
No,
that.
you can't tell me
No.
which
That is-
variables I should compare.
that's a
no.
poor benchmark.
No, you cannot teach me that.
The MPP
You cannot.
won't move away from this.
No,
You
you
cannot-
can,
you can-
no, they are global
Recession is
benchmarks for
recession.
African average,
Yes.
then the
Recession
global
is recession.
average.
He knows that.
So which
In
one
fact,
are you comparing?
when we went to the IMF,
that.
at the
Yes.
point we wanted to tell the Ghanaian people that, it was only Ghana that has gone to the IMF. And we told people, no, it's not true. Even our next door neighbors,
Which country went on
Cote
to
d'Ivoire.
recession in Africa?
Cote d'Ivoire, were also experiencing difficulties.
But better than Ghana.
Nigeria was experiencing difficulties.
Better than Ghana.
Not better than Ghana. Our economies are not the same.
So you see?
Our economies are not the same. But countries went into recession.
Which country?
That's how tough the whole situation was. We were able to steer our way through, even in the heat of COVID. We did not falter on public sector, wages. Even you people, without these things, even paying public sector is a problem for you. Yet you exit a program, and instead of being magnanimous, you are not magnanimous.
Okay.
You came to ride on the back of the NPP program that we took the shots for and lost election for.
Okay.
And
That's not why you lost.
why did we?
Incompetence.
But the same incompetence on that occasion, you running to the IMF in 2015. It's not incompetence.
No.
Incompetence is when we reduce inflation from 54.
Who took it to 54?
To down
Who took it there?
to 23%.
Who took it there?
When the IMF predicted that by 2025 there will be single-digit inflation, which you have come to enjoy, and now you are saying we should clap hands for you. Where?
My final statement.
Where?
Do you know in 2022?
Where?
No, in
What
2022.
have you done?
In 2022.
That's what, Moro, I'm telling you, these people.
No, wait.
No,
In
it's a government
2022.
of trickery, eh?
Moro, just in 2022,
And when you follow this,
wait. In 2022,
What happened?
IMF performed better. Ukraine performed better than Ghana. Surprisingly.
Where the war was happening.
Where the war was happening? They grew by
Ukraine
43%.
economy is a
So-
different model economy than the Ghanaian economy.
So
what
be
that's
bright.
why
We are an import-laden economy.
Let me-
You know,
let me wish
compare us to our
the
neighbors.
MCE.
we are an import-laden economy.
Which country in
Oh,
Africa?
you let me do
Don't
this.
do that. That's dishonest.
Let me wish Ebi Bright, who is the municipal chief executive of Tema Metropolitan Assembly. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday, Ebi Bright. Well, I'm told she turns 47 today. Yeah, somebody just whispered, a bird whispered in my ears. Ebi Bright, happy. One of these, I think that Bright, we should have her on today. Well, I think she's doing some amazing job at Tema. Yes, Tema Municipal Assembly. Yes, she's the mayor there. Yeah, that's her. Ebi Bright. Okay, that's fine. So Ebi Bright today is today's birthday. Wish you all the best. Actually, one of you have an admirer here, our lead producer, Bright Amini. He admires you so much. He said I should wish you a happy birthday. This one is personally from him. I don't know what kind of relationship they have with yes, but he admires her very, very much. And it's of course from the entire production team of the Good Morning Ghana show want to say happy birthday.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.